Salamangreat in Duel Links. Crazy. I never thought we'd see the day where we actually get Vrain's World in Duel Links and Link monsters in Duel Links. It just doesn't feel right. But, that being said, I grinded this all day yesterday to make this deck happen. So we're gonna talk about it. Anyway, let's get into it. Salamangreat deck profile, and I have two replays at the end of the video that we're going to go over. They'll show going first combos against pretty competent decks. Not the best decks in the world, as I'm still kind of low rank because I haven't played this game very frequently in like a while. But this deck is pretty cool. I've had a lot of fun with it. Let's get right into it. So, starting off with the skill, I'm using Rise from the Valley of Flames. Now, you don't have to use this, but it essentially gives you an additional extra deck slot. Starting off the game with one copy of Salamangreat Heatleo in your extra deck. I'm not going to lie, I have not used the other effects of this skill a single time out of like 30 games. I'm sure it will come up. I think it's like, select a Salamangreat Link monster you control, add a monster with the same name to your extra deck, and then play Sanctuary to your field from outside of your deck. So it's not that good. It's like kind of cool. You know, it allows you to use maybe a third copy of Sunlight Wolf if you don't want to put a third copy in your extra deck. It's pretty niche. It's not going to come up very frequently, but it might. Anyway, that's a good skill. It essentially, like I said, gives you one additional extra deck slot because you're going to play 2 Heatleo in the extra deck anyway, so it opens for another slot. Anyway, that is the skill. Let's talk about the main deck. So we've got 1 Gazelle, 2 Jaguar, 3 Foxy, 1 Falco, and 1 Fowl for the Salamangreat monsters. We also have 3 Lady Debug accompanying it. I don't know quite how I feel about Debug yet. I think maybe, you know, there's a couple different ways to build this deck. I think an over 20 card deck that plays all the starters at max, you know, 3 Signet Mining, 3 Circle, 3 Foxy, 3 Debug, all that jazz. Because you need to start with like 1 to 2 starters, preferably 2 to be honest, but you don't really want to draw Sanctuary in your opening hand. You just don't want it. You just don't want that guy. So, you know, playing over 20 makes it so you don't see your brick and you're going to see a starter, and that's all good. But there's another way to play it. Around 20 cards, you're going to draw your brick sometimes, but then maybe even cutting the Lady Debug. I think Lady Debug is really good. I like it so far, and you can even start with it as a starter and end on the, you know, sending the Roar and then adding it back with the Gazelle play. So you can, you know, use it as a starter, but it's kind of awkward sometimes. You want it to be like probably Foxy. I like Foxy a lot. I've seen people saying Foxy's bad and that they don't really like Foxy. I think 3 Foxy is right. I really like this card. I think it's very strong. Going over the main deck monsters, Gazelle, we only have 1 copy, so of course we're going to play it. 2 Jaguar is enough. I've seen people getting 3, I think. I think you can get 3 by like maxing out the character. I don't know if that's true yet, but I think I'd only want to still play 2 because it's not really a starter and you dump it with Gazelle. So I feel like 2 is fine. Foxy, I really like 3. It's a really good starter. Late game, once you have access to a bunch of Salamangreat cards, which after like 2 turns with Sunlight Wolf on the field, you have like 4 Salamangreat monsters in your hand for the rest of the duel. So that's not a problem at all. And then this comes up late game. You know, it can pop things like Fiendish Chains. It can even just summon out, you know, using your field spell, and then you don't have to destroy a card. So both effects of Foxy are really good. And in a 20 couple card deck, this card almost always hits turn 1. Like, actually just almost always. It's so frequent. I very seldom miss. So I think the card's very valuable. But I do wish we had Mirage Stalio and like Spinny and stuff, but we don't have them, and that's okay. Falco is really good. This card obviously, you know, has a couple of different things it's really good for. You can revive it by bouncing, so if you don't have a normal summon, you can revive it bouncing your thing and then normal summon your thing. So, you know, it multiplies monsters in some scenarios. But another really cool thing about this is if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add back Salamangreat Spell Trap. So late game, if you know, have Circle and Roar in the graveyard and you have a Sunlight Wolf can add 1 back, and then you can send the Falco off the Gazelle and then add the other one back as well. So it gives you just like more resources. I think this card's pretty good. It's also just another level 4 monster that allows you to like summon rank 4s. It's pretty solid. It's not crazy, but it's solid. And then we have 1 Foul, which I think you should definitely be playing. Like, I think Falco is cuttable, and I think these cards are cuttable down to like, you know, any amount that you want to. But I think Foul is really good. It's an extender, which is really solid. It allows for like some weird hands to actually work and get the full, you know, Sunlight Wolf negate board up, which is really good. And Foul is big. 1800, and has an effect to like mute a back row, like Yoku a back row for a turn, which comes up pretty frequently. It's actually pretty solid. So I think this card's very valuable. I think all of the Salamangreat monsters are really good at the rate that I'm playing them at. The amount that I'm playing them at, I think is really good. And then we have 3 debug, which, like I said, is cuttable in certain builds, but I think in this build, I really like triple debug. It's really solid, even if, you're just summoning debug, setting Book of Moon pass, you're usually going to live because you're going to get Gazelle. You can even then use the debug to make Balinks, and then with, like, Foul, you can special out the Foul, and then still, go full combo with the Gazelle in hand. It's kind of weird, but like it makes it so that if you open Lady Debug and Salamangreat Circle, or Lady Debug and Silent Mining, you can still combo. And if you open Debug and Silent Mining, you can go normal summon Debug, search any Salamangreat monster, discard it with the Silent Mining, search the Gazelle, and then you special the Gazelle, and then you still have full combo that searches the negate. So it's really, really powerful. And I think just maxing out on these monsters that actually, like, make the deck work is the right way to do it. With all that being said, I wouldn't mind upping the count a little bit more with more Signet Minings and maybe another like 1 or 2, stapled spell or trap cards, and then playing like maybe 24, 25, 26, something like that, just so you never really open this card. Just, an idea. Then we're also playing 3 Circle. Of course, you're going to play this. This is Rhoda. It's quick play Rhoda. So if you have multiple of them, it's once per turn. So if you have multiple of them, you can set one and then use it on their turn, and then you still can use it on your turn, your next turn. So it just gets you a million monsters. It's really solid. And then I played 1 Signet Mining. Like I said, I would play more of this card. Unfortunately, I only pulled 1. I had really, really bad luck with the box. My last 2 Ultras was Signet Mining in Heatleo, and my Heatleo was the last one, and that's what I was resetting for, because I was like, okay, you can play the deck with X amount of Signet Minings, but you really should have 2 Heatleos. So I was waiting until I pulled a Heatleo, and then I found out the skill lets you start with a Heatleo. Whatever. It's weird. I got unlucky with the boxes. That's how it goes. They understand. Kamani, you understand that this is the deck that everybody wanted from it, so you just buried the ultra rares. I know you're up to something. I know you're up to it. Anyway, really good deck. I liked all these cards, and then I played some supporting like spell trap staples. Oh, one roar, because it's all we have access to. Really wish we had rage, but we don't. And other than that, we played 3 Book of Moon because I wanted to play the 1 Treacherous Trap Hole, because this doesn't stay in the graveyard for long, so the 1 Treacherous is really good. Econ is really solid because this deck sometimes can struggle against like big boards and going second, so Econ isn't bad. I wanted to play double Econ, but Treacherous is just so powerful. I just wanted to play the 1 Treacherous, so we played 1 Treacherous, 1 Econ, and 3 Book of Moon to make, Treacherous always live. Makes sense. You can change those staples out however you want. Honestly, I don't think it matters at all. You can play Crackdowns, you can play Compulse, you can play Floodgate Trap Hole, you can play double Econ, you can play the books, you can play MST, Cosmic Cyclone, Lance. Any of those cards, any combination of those cards, I think is fine, as long as it works for you and you like it. That's how I see it. Also, if you go for like more cheaper options, obviously Book of Moon's like kind of expensive card. If you don't have like the dream tickets to get those cards, then play a different card that you have. It's fine. I think whatever is fine. Canadia, any of those cards are good. All of those staple cards, they're good. Anyway, into the extra deck. We have 1 rank 4. I really want to play 2, but I think Ningirsu and the Security Dragon are very valuable. They've both came up in many situations for me, so I really think, 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz, if I'm playing only 1 rank 4, the thing that this deck has a really hard time with is climbing big monsters and climbing big boards, and Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon gives us pretty good against that, because a lot of like turn 2, turn 3s, we can make Heatleo and a rank 4, which Heatleo deals with a back row, sometimes deals with 2 back row, and then, you have Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon comes in after that and, breaks a board and kills your opponent a lot of the time. So it's really good. I think if you only have room for 1, you play this card. Obviously, Malevolent Sin is really good. Obviously, Dweller can be really good. And I like Emerald as a good option because it's always good. It's like almost always a good option, but this card answers the problems. So I like it. I played Ningirsu. Ningirsu is a really good out to Yazi. That's something that I've run into a couple times, and you just don't really have a good out to the Yazi, because if you make Dark Rebellion, you're not killing it. You're not killing them, and then Ningirsu is just a non-targeting, non-destroying pop. It's crazy. Or a non-destroying. Once per turn, you can send 1 card from each player's field to the graveyards. It doesn't target, it doesn't pop, it plays right around Yazi. It's really good. It's kind of hard to do this turn 1, like against Yazi. It's actually I haven't done it yet, like against a turn 1 Yazi. But if you go first and then you play against Rose Dragon and they like end on Yazi, they Yazi and then pop stuff. But if you like have a negate, I don't know, it's kind of weird. If you like Book of Moon, it's just weird. But listen, Ningirsu outs Yazi, and Yazi is a problem, so we're playing Ningirsu. I feel like I did a bad job at explaining it, but hey, whatever. And then the other, like, spicy guy is Security Dragon. I just think this card's really good. It's really valuable to me. It's really powerful. Also, you know, it was in the selection box, and I spent $6 on it, so I'm going to play it. But yeah, this Security Dragon is pretty solid. It comes up a lot. Like, you have Sunlight Wolf, and then you can make it, and then make the Security Dragon co-link to the Sunlight Wolf. You get to add back a card if you didn't already do that. And then Security Dragon just bounces something. It's really strong. So I'm like a big fan of Security Dragon in my opinion. In this deck, I think it's really solid. And then we played 2 Balinks, 2 Sunlight Wolf, and the 1 Heat Leo with the additional 1 Heat Leo from the skill. So that's the deck. I think it's really solid. I went over some good options that you can play otherwise, and I like it a lot. I think Ningirsu is definitely a cuttable card, and I think the Security Dragon is also a cuttable card. If you want to play another rank 4, like Abyss Dweller, or the Emerald, anything like that, or the Malevolent Sin, you can do any of that. And if you want to play 3 Balinks or 3 Sunlight Wolf, that's solid. The 3rd Sunlight Wolf has come up a couple times. I haven't really cared about a 3rd Balinks usually. Usually 2 is sufficient, but I think I had like 1 game where if I had a 3rd Balinks in my extra deck, I would have won when I didn't win. So yeah, all are digestible that way. You can, they're all interchangeable. Anyway, that's it. Let's get into the replays. All right, we've got a replay, everybody. Current win streak 6. I don't lose. I don't lose. What do you think? What do you expect? Anyway, I'm in platinum. What would you expect? Anyway, weird hand, triple Foxy, 1 Gazelle. It's kind of weird, but it gets there. 1 Foxy plus 1 Gazelle is really good. We do actually hit Roar, which makes this combo a little different because you would usually send the Roar from the Gazelle. Instead, we get to send Jack Jaguar, which allows us to special it back, taking advantage of the Sunlight Wolf to add back a Gazelle. So we have Gazelle in hand for in case they, you know, remove anything. We can special it during their turn, send the Jack Jaguar, and it's cool. It's cool. Anyway, we're going to link 1, the Foxy, into Balinks, and chain link 2 is going to be Gazelle to special summon itself. Now, the Gazelle is going to activate on a new chain to Foolish Burial as well. We're going to search our Sanctuary from Balinks, and then Gazelle is going to send the Jack Jaguar. Like I said, now let's pause right here, because this is where it would differ. We would typically send this Roar, and then, you know, relink our Sunlight Wolf, add back the Roar, and that's all well and good. But since we got to the Roar through the Gazelle, or through the Foxy, then we have access to sending the Jack Jaguar with the Gazelle. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, summon the Sunlight Wolf here, and then we're going to activate the Jack Jaguar, send back the Foxy to special summon itself, and then Sunlight Wolf is going to trigger, giving us back the Gazelle to our hand, which is pretty good. Pretty good. We're going to activate Sanctuary and then relink our Sunlight Wolf to the other side. That way we can, you know, potentially take advantage of it, you know, quickly on the next turn, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to summon Sunlight Wolf here, and then I'm just going to set the back row and pass. Usually this is going to be accompanied with another copy, you know, any spell or trap, which would be good. We didn't get it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and, you know, bust that wide open. Just use the first, use it on the first thing. He's got a Monster Reborn. It requires him to have other things. This is a lot of cards my opponent is having to use to get through this 1 negate, as you can see. 1 negate is incredibly powerful in this format, like 1 Omni negate. Really good. He's going to go through a whole bunch of steps to get, you know, 1 boss monster, Elegant Egotist, bring out all this stuff. He's going to make the thing. He played into the Sunlight Wolf, which doesn't really matter that much because I'm just going to put the other copy of Sunlight Wolf back, but it might come up and it's solid to play around that. So, you know, be careful of the Sunlight Wolf zones. Anyway, they're going to use their skill to add the Harpy Feather Duster, activate it, and then he's going to chain the Harpy, you know, do the whole thing. I banished my Balinks to keep the Sanctuary alive because I wanted to keep Sanctuary alive. Anyway, here we're going to start it off with the Signet Mining, which, you know, just use my spells before this to make them have to use a reactive spell or trap in a weird time. Gazelle is then going to special summon itself since I discarded from Signet Mining, and then Foul is going to use its effect to special summon itself. Now, Foul's effect to freeze a back row actually comes up right here, and it's really good. We're going to send the other card because I know that my opponent's going to activate it and then bounce one of my monsters, which means I can normal summon it again, and it doesn't really matter. So then, now here, what we're going to do is we're going to link the Gazelle into our other copy of Balinks. This play is cool. And then we're going to special back the Jack Jaguar, and then we're going to normal summon the Fowl, and then we're going to have a Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon to climb his big guy. See, if that was an Abyss Dweller, wouldn't have been that good. If it was a Malevolent Sin, wouldn't have been that good. We weren't going to be able to close the game. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, it's the play. I'm telling you, this guy's big. It outs problems. So, yeah, I mean, we just win the game. What's my opponent going to be able to do? It's Harpies. They can't really do anything with one card. They could have, you know, drawn... the best card would have been like the Perfumer. Normal summon the Perfumer, search the Elegant Egotist, activated, special summon out, and then he has a rank 4. Malevolent Sin banish the guy, but then, you know, I still have a play the next turn, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we just win. So that's that game. I thought it went pretty well. We're gonna go do one more replay, and then the video's over, and then you don't have to watch this video anymore. So this is a cool one. This is against Yosenju. I actually think this deck's pretty solid. Yosenju, I think the deck's pretty good in this meta with, you know, links and stuff. I don't really know why. I've seen it. I watched the meta frequently yesterday, and the deck actually did really well. So it's not just me that thinks Yosenju is pretty solid right now. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. So starting with this hand looks awkward from the start, right? Well, then you get to realize that you still get the full combo with Lady Debug and Signet Mining, because Lady Debug can get Foxy, you can discard Foxy with the Signet Mining, which allows you to trigger the Gazelle that isn't even in your hand yet, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is weird. You now special summon the Gazelle, and then you get to dump, which here we're going to dump the Roar because we want the negate. And then you're going to use the Lady Debug to turn into Balinx, and then you have 2 flyers to go into Sunlight Wolf. And of course, we're going to get our Sanctuary Search here, and we're going to link into Sunlight Wolf, all that stuff. You guys know it by now. We're going to activate the Sanctuary. We're going to relink into our Sunlight Wolf. That way we can add back the Roar, and we have Book of Moon as well. So we have 2 interruptions here. One is an Omni Negate, and one is Book of Moon. It's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and set those 2. And my opponent's playing Yosenju, which plays right into the negate. Very easy, very nice. They do have the Sword Sting set, which is really powerful, but not too bad. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start the turn off with Sunlight Wolf. Just, you know, do it right off the bat. Really good. So you're going to add back the negate, which is really good. We're going to normal summon Debug in the slot to add back with the Sunlight Wolf. You see the advantage that you can accrue with this deck? Do you see it? It's ridiculous. Now we're going to link into the Balinx. Just so we can go into the Heatleo, but here my opponent I think uses a trap. No, they don't. So then we special summon back the Foul, and now we make Heatleo. Heatleo is going to target one of his back row. I think I sniped the Sword Sting, which is unfortunate because he just uses it. Yeah, I did. So that's a little unfortunate. He gives me full knowledge of the hand though, which is pretty good. We get Kama 1 and Oyum. Oyum! He's going to bounce my guys, and that's going to be really strong. We're going to bring back Foxy, just crack in for a little bit of damage. I think he could have summoned the Oyam there. I don't remember what Oyam does. I think it's like a battle trap that like copies the attack. So he could have just not taken 1,000, but he didn't care. He just didn't care. And that's fine. That's all good. He's going to Tenki, which is an unfortunate top deck for me because, you know, it wouldn't have mattered otherwise. Like if he just had the 1 comma, it wouldn't have done anything. Anyway, he's going to go ahead and use his Sword Sting here, which I disagree with. Because, like, why? Like, why would you care about those cards that I had on the field? Why would you bounce them there? But who cares? I guess he wanted to try, like, to push for lethal, but it's just shy of lethal anyway. I Book of Moon, the one that, like, makes it so he does nothing. And now he's got nothing except 1 Oyam, which I have 1 Salamangreat Roar set, which can trade with the Oyam. So I'm pretty certain that this is game. We go ahead and special back Foxy by popping this Tenki and discarding a card. We're going to summon the Gazelle because we discarded Foxy, and then send the Jack Jaguar. We're going to normal summon the Jack Jaguar, which here was a bit of a mistake because I should have just special summoned the Foul when I summoned the Gazelle, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to link all 3 of those into Heatleo. Just have a big link monster that can use this Salamangreat Roar negate. We're going to special summon out the Foul, and then we're going to special back the Jack Jaguar. Now, Jack Jaguar is going to declare an attack into here with Piercing, which is pretty good. And then I'm going to declare a game attack. He's going to use Oyam, and I'm going to negate it because I don't care about it. Oh, that's why he didn't use it on the Salamangreat Foxy attack. Because you have to negate. I forgot about that. Anyway, or you have to discard. Anyway, pretty good deck. I really like this deck. I think it's very strong. And that's it for the video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Say your comments leave them down below. Comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. And I have a TCG affiliate link in the description down below. If you purchase IRL cards, physical cards, click that link, shop, check out. Directly supports the channel. I'd appreciate it. Have a good week. Goodbye.